Keegan Stewart here from Grants, New Mexico, who's a communication and mass media major. Fire away, Keegan.
Thanks, President Perrin. Jason, I was initially going to ask you about the Philadelphia play where you lose your helmet, but I really appreciated the insight you gave us on that, so I'm going to switch my question. You mentioned you're joining ESPN up in the booth.
Yeah.
Are you going to reach out to Tony Romo and kind of talk to him about his experience and see if you can learn some things from him on that?
Good question. Tony's been a great influence over the course of my career, certainly as I've kind of gone through this process of going back and forth. So he's been somebody I've leaned on quite a bit during this kind of transition, if you will. So, it's funny how different personalities, it's like you're teammates for so long and now we're like competitors, So, like, when I was going through this process, they're talking about CBS or different people would say that, and, I kind of thought it was like thinking of Tony, and then I'm like, oh man, he's the bad guy, you know what I mean? So, but no, it really doesn't work that way. I mean, all these networks have so much respect for each other, and they recognize the traits that each individual has. So he's already helped me tremendously, and I know he'll continue to do that, just with advice and what he did and things that helped him. And so I think over the next 3 or 4 months he'll continue to do that for me. And as it unfolds, it's going to be great because that's a common factor. One of the things that happened this last year is, we've literally seen each other every single day for 14 years. I mean, in training camp, we're roommates. And last year, just with his schedule traveling and me playing, we just didn't see each other much. And he's got 3 kids, I have 4, and, schedules get busy. And so it'll be interesting because now our lives will get back on a similar career path. And he's been a great influence and great support system for me.
That was Jason Witten speaking at the LCU event. Just this last week in Midland, Texas, LCU hosted a major event. Jason Witten came in for it, did a great job. I had the pleasure and awesome opportunity of being there, and as you heard, I got to ask him a question, and wow, what a guy. I mean, I also had a couple of other unique opportunities, just working the event, seeing him interact with other people, and I've just got to tell you, what you imagine about Jason Witten, the kind of character he has, the kind of guy that he is on a regular basis, just think of him how you are and double it. He is a class act, super genuine guy. One of the special opportunities that presented itself to me was the opportunity to fly back on the jet with Witten from Midland to drop him off in Dallas. I have some family in Lubbock, the Merchant, 7B Building and Development, Champion Express Car Wash, and they used their jet to pick Witten up from Dallas, bring him to Midland, and then I got to fly back with my cousin Derek, who also was on the jet. We flew him back. Crazy experience, man. Just surreal. You're sitting there on the jet, and you're having conversations with Jason Witten, and it kind of starts to feel normal, and you kind of take a step back for a second and think, wow, this is Jason Witten. 15 years, Dallas Cowboy, missed 1 game, 10 Pro Bowls, captain, leader. I mean, just the list of things you can think about, and I just find myself sitting there catching up with him, and it was just crazy. I mean, we talked about lots of things. I asked him about the NBA playoffs. He told me he's a big fan. He told me his son keeps up with it pretty religiously, one of his sons. His son's favorite player is LeBron James, a hardcore LeBron fan, in which my cousin Derek told him, hey, listen, Keegan here, big-time LeBron fan. He always tries to tell me how LeBron is better than Jordan when Jason Witten speaks up and says, hey, listen, I've been a Jordan guy my whole life. Always fought for Jordan, always said he's the man. But I gotta tell you, the way LeBron James is shooting the basketball right now, the way he has elevated his game with his jumper, he's setting himself up to be able to play later in his career, carrying himself with his jump shot. He said, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but LeBron is on a tear right now. So cool. We talked about the Cowboys. We talked about Bill Parcells. Told us he's tough, he's rigid, but hey, you know what you're going to get from him. He was very interested in business. He asked my cousin Derek a lot about business. He wanted to know how these oil and gas guys make their money in Midland. He was trying to pick his brain about some of that stuff. I told him I was at the Cowboys-Packers playoff game in 2016. He told me that was the best environment that has ever taken place in AT&T Stadium. I told him about my aspirations of going into the sports media industry. He was encouraging of that, and obviously he just took a job. If you didn't know, Monday Night Football, he's going to be working for ESPN, color commentator in the booth. Joe Tessitore is going to be his play-by-play guy. Found that out, but it was so cool. We talked about Tony Romo as a broadcaster. It was just a unique experience. My favorite part was that we landed in Dallas, got to take a picture with him on my phone, and he was just so personable. The very last thing he said to me was, "Hey, Keegan, let's call a game together someday, man." I mean, come on, man. How cool is that? Just really so many moments. They're going to stick with me. Quickly climbed up on my list. He was already near the top, but come on. Climbed up on my list of all-time favorite Cowboys. He's probably at the top right now. Just incredible. And I gotta say, if you have not watched the Cowboys documentary series through Prime Video, called All or Nothing, highly recommend getting on there and watching that. That show provides an insight to an NFL team experience like I've never seen from any other outlet before. That shows you details and insights. It shows you how the team meetings happen. It shows you how the players interact with the coaches, how the players interact with the players, the kind of things the players worry about throughout the week, how they train their... I mean, it is crazy. That shows that the details on that show are remarkable. Highly recommend watching it. For me, it gave me a 180 perspective change on Coach Jason Garrett. Hey, listen, this guy's a leader. This guy's a leader, man. Very, very interesting. If you want to learn more about how the NFL looks, how it works, day by day, week by week, check out All or Nothing. And all that being said, there are probably 5 or 6 moments on that show that highlight Jason Witten in a way that just speaks to the character. Shows and displays the same guy that we saw in Midland, Texas this last Tuesday. I mean, he's unreal. I mean, very last episode, end of the season, they honor Witten for 15 years. They give him a football, and guys are standing up, applauding, standing ovation as Witten receives the honor. A couple of guys start saying, "Speech, speech, speech." Coach Garrett says, "Hey, Witten, you want to say a few words?" Witten gives a speech, and it is just inspiring. Coach Garrett says, "Hey, look, I can't follow that." Tries to say a little something. He gets emotional. He just gets emotional talking about Witten, seeing what Witten had just said. Incredible. Check it out. All or Nothing, a Dallas Cowboys season, 2017 season, documented on Amazon Prime. Incredible footage. I'm excited. This is the Keegan Stewart Sports Podcast. Excited to be with you for another week. We have a guest coming up, Cade Killough. He's going to be joining me. Excited about that. NBA playoffs are in. They kick off tomorrow. Excited about that. Cade is going to be joining me right after this. Welcome back, Keegan Stewart Sports Podcast. Very excited for this episode. The NBA playoff conference finals get kicked off tomorrow. The East starts tomorrow. The West starts on Monday. Couldn't be excited. We got Cade Killough with us today. He is going to be a freshman student here at LCU next year, big sports guy, and he lives in Colorado currently, but he is getting ready for his final summer before he comes over here to LCU. Excited to hear what he has to say. Cade, what's going on, man?
How's it going, Keegan?
Hey, it's good. Thanks for joining me on the show, man. I'm excited to talk some sports with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
So I got to ask, man, to me, since, I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 years now, since the Western Conference Finals has been as intriguing as it is this year. I go back to Oklahoma City versus San Antonio, some of those duels KD was having with the Spurs. This is so exciting for me. I just want to hear your thoughts going into this Rockets Warriors series, and ultimately tell me what you think is going to happen.
Well, first off, I want to say that I think the Warriors are still going to take this. I think it's going to be a great series. I think for the Rockets to win this series, they're going to have to win Game 1 at least. They're going to have to win Game 1 right off the bat. They're going to have to come out and punch the Warriors right in the mouth. And, yeah, they're going to have to win Game 1, and if they don't, it's going to be a tough uphill battle for them.
Absolutely. For me, I'm looking at it, and obviously the Rockets do have home court, and it's first time KD. I just look at this thing, man, and I see Harden, right? And I see Chris Paul, and that's 2, okay? I see 2. But when I look at the Warriors, I still see 4. I still see 4 big obstacles that are going to be hard to overcome with Thompson and Curry and Draymond, Defensive Player of the Year, you know, and obviously Kevin Durant, second best player on the planet. And I get it. The Rockets play this system. They shoot the threes. They do the analytics. They play good defense. They do this thing that's supposed to make life hard. But I have a very hard time seeing 2 and a good system beating 4, because at the end of the day, this thing comes down to players. So how many games does this thing go, Cade?
I think the Warriors have it in 6, honestly. I think that it still remains to see how Paul and how James Harden come out in the conference finals in the big stage. And honestly, I think that Chris Paul and James Harden, I think that they come out and they match up perfectly, like you said, with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I think they kind of beat each other up. And then I think the Rockets' next big player, I think Draymond Green comes out, and I think Draymond Green gives Clint Capella. I think that Draymond Green is going to be able to take care of him. And then who do the Rockets have that's going to take care of Kevin Durant? That's the real question.
So what I've been reading about, and I guess this is what the Rockets are thinking. They've been planning. They've been scheming. They've seen this matchup looming for over the years. They're building up, and you know who they got for KD? P.J. Tucker. That's the name I've been reading about. P.J. Tucker is going to be the guy that they throw at KD, and basically P.J. Tucker is strong. He's physical. He's pretty thick. He's pretty handsy. And he's going to be different than anybody KD has seen these playoffs. KD's pretty much just been shooting over chairs this playoffs. P.J. Tucker is not going to be that. So I hope that the Rockets' plan of assembling this team with P.J. Tucker will be effective for them. Listen, when you're dealing with Kevin Durant, a guy that can score in all those ways, I'm not so sure. So you got Warriors in 6. I'm under the belief this thing might go 7. Just because the Rockets are going to literally throw everything they have. One thing that concerns me is they've never been on this stage before. The Warriors have been here every year since 15. So new stage for the Rockets, not a new stage for the Warriors. Chris Paul's first conference finals. James Harden had a pretty horrific end of the playoffs last year. How can they balance some of those things? How can they recover and come together as a unit and say, let's give it our best shot? The reason I say 7 is, look, the Rockets have the home court advantage, and that's going to be huge in this series. But the thing is, you say, okay, you have the Warriors winning, but winning in 7, you have the Warriors beating Houston on the Rockets' home floor. I do, and it just comes down to what I said. More pieces, more weapons, more scorers, more experience. These guys are the best team ever assembled. These guys are the best team ever assembled. They already had 73 wins, and the best scorer in the league went and joined them. These guys are not built to lose. These guys are absolutely not built to lose, and I don't think the Rockets are built to stop it yet. So that's how I see this series going. Extremely excited for this thing to get tipped off on Monday. It could go a number of ways. It absolutely could go a number of ways.
Yeah, I agree. The Rockets are going to have to play lights out. They're going to have to hit their shots every night. The Rockets, I mean, here's what it comes down to. They can have one down game, and that's it. You know, they're going to have to play perfect the rest of the time, and we're going to see how they do.
Cade, at your high school, is there a lot of LeBron versus Michael Jordan discussion?
Yeah. I guess you could say I'm kind of the only LeBron guy.
Yeah, okay. So tell me the kind of things you hear. What are these guys throwing at you? I'm curious. Colorado high school crowd. What the Colorado high school crowd, Michael Jordan lovers. I'm curious what their narratives are.
Their main thing, the only thing that they can talk to me about is the championships. The 6-0 championships, Michael Jordan and LeBron James. What is he, like 3-7, 2-5, something like that?
Yeah, 3 and 5.
Yeah, and I can get all of them to say that the only thing Michael Jordan has on LeBron is the championships, but they just don't seem to get it, you know.
Oh yeah, what's curious to me about that is, listen, you're 17, 18 years old. How old are you, Cade?
I'm 18.
18. Okay, so we're dealing with a group of 16, 17, and 8-year-olds that are all saying these things, right? That have never watched that man play. See, I make this case, and I do not mean any disrespect to Michael Jordan. To me, he's the second greatest player to ever do it. But these kids, these high school guys, and even my age, guys in college, guys in the junior, senior year of college, we didn't watch this guy play. Everything that we say has been passed down to us. Everything that we talk about is the best of the best of the best that we've seen on YouTube. It's so mythicized. It's so hyped up. And they don't know Jordan's faults. They don't know the skeletons in his closet. They don't know about his final year with the Wizards in year 15 that wasn't even mediocre, man. I mean, they don't know about the time the bad boy Pistons bounced him out of the league 3 years in a row, 88, 89, and 90. If there was social media back then, there might be a better opportunity to see these faults. Unfortunately, LeBron, anytime he has had a mistake, it was publicized and highlighted on social media for the whole week. Now, that being said, this guy's still been incredible, still breaking every playoff record. And listen, his concrete is still very much wet. This guy is still going. We're arguing about two guys where one of the guy's stories is very much so still being written. So, I just think that's funny. They tell you the rings. They tell you, what about the rings? Why don't you tell them, okay, you want to do the rings thing? Then Bill Russell's the GOAT. Robert Horry's the GOAT. You ever tell him that?
Right. Exactly. And, the funny thing is that they don't, not a lot of people take into account the fact that Michael Jordan never made it out of the first round without Scottie Pippen on his team.
Exactly.
Everybody says, LeBron has to have somebody on his team. He can't do it by himself. Well, that is just blatantly not true. This with the Cavs, he had Zgriel Ilgauskas, Big Z, on his team, was the second best player. And he was making it to the conference finals, NBA finals with them. And Michael Jordan's out here getting bounced in the first round. And, I'll be the first to admit, I never watched Michael Jordan play. So it's really kind of a bias between them. But LeBron James is the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. And there's no debating that.
1-9. 1-9 is what Michael Jordan is in the playoffs without Scottie Pippen. 1-9, and I would like to see. I know we're kind of hypothetical around here, but listen, I would love to have seen the opportunity for Michael Jordan to try and get past those Indiana Pacers just last round with that cast around him. Go ahead, man. Let's see. I just have a hard time believing that Jordan could have gotten out of that series. I mean, LeBron narrowly, barely got out of that thing. So I like to think things like that. All right, Cade, let's transition. Eastern Conference Finals. Cavs, Celtics. What are you thinking here?
And I think this is going to be a fantastic series. Man, I don't know. You gotta go with LeBron, right? Until he doesn't fail, until he doesn't make it to the finals. Brad Stevens over in Boston has done fantastic things with the Celtics that he's been dealt for this playoffs. You know, losing Gordon Hayward in the first 5 minutes of the season, losing Kyrie Irving towards the middle/end of the season, and he's turned Terry Rozier into Kyrie Irving, and he's turned Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown into more than adequate 2 and 3 pieces on the playoff team. And I think that it's going to be a close series. I think it's going to come down to 6 games, but I think the team's going to take it, you know? And like you've been saying, the Cavs are starting to click. Kevin Love is starting to come alive. He's starting to play, he's starting to shoot, he's starting to rebound, he's starting to show effort. Kyle Korver has been playing lights out for the Cavaliers. And I think that the King and the Cavaliers are going to end up taking the young Boston Celtics in the end.
How many games there, Cade?
I gotta say 6 or 7. It's gonna come down to what the Celtics can do at home. I will say this though, with the Celtics being injured, the good job that Brad Stevens has done, their play on the road has been subpar. And Al Horford, I think, is the key to the series for the Celtics. You know, Terry Rozier's got to play good. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have to play good. But if Al Horford can come out and defend and put up, 15 to 20 points a night with 10 boards, it's going to be a series, and we're going to have to see what the Celtics can do.
I heard a stat that said Al Horford versus LeBron in his last 16 games in the playoffs, 15-1. Are you kidding me? I mean, Al Horford is a great player. He's definitely gained some more respect from me in this playoffs. He's really been doing a good job as a veteran leader there for Boston. But to me, the difference in this series between the difference with the last series, Toronto and Boston, the difference obviously is the head coach. We see Dwayne Casey get fired. But look, Toronto's probably more talented with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward out. So, and all of this just goes into consideration as we think of the kind of things that were said going into the Toronto series. That was obviously beforehand something that was going to be an extremely difficult task for the Cavs. And then they just go in there and sweep them. And so it's just, and looking back at the Indiana series, that thing goes 7. It's just kind of hard to anticipate what we might see, because I think with LeBron and his teammates, you could get both ends of the spectrum happening. I could see this thing being like the Toronto series and being kind of a short 4 or 5 game series. I really could. Just because of the Boston's inexperience, because of LeBron's experience and the way his guys are shooting and clicking right now. It comes down to the shooting. That's what people don't understand. It's a simple game at the end of the day. If those guys in Cleveland are just spraying you, good luck. And that's what we saw against Toronto. And they couldn't figure out how to rotate shift, and plus LeBron was just full head of steam going at him. Boston will do a better job of that, I assume. That's why I would be leaning more toward this thing being kind of a later series, 6 or 7 games. But I don't see this young and talented team beating LeBron and this group of good defenders and shooters. I just don't see it happening. My prediction is Cavs in 6. I'm resting in the middle there. Cavs in 6. Really excited. I do think the first game is important. If Cleveland can smack the first game, that will scare Boston. It'll intimidate Jason Tatum. It'll have this young Boston thinking a little bit too hard. So that one starts off on Sunday, tomorrow.
Right, and I think the difference between, like you said, the Toronto Raptors series and this series is going to be their coach. It's going to be Brad Stevens is the best coach in the league right now. No disrespect to Greg Popovich, but he's the best coach. He's showing it right now. The way that he has the defensive schemes set up, the way that he's having them execute their defensive schemes, the way that they're all playing above their heads on offense, it's amazing. And that's going to be something that is going to be different from the Toronto series, for sure.
Where is LeBron going to play next year?
Oh, man. Does anybody know? Does LeBron even know where he's going to play next year?
I don't think he knows yet. I really don't think he knows yet. He's too smart. He's too analytical and like he needs to see everything unfold before he makes his decision. What's your prediction, Cade?
I've been hearing Philly out there a lot lately. I think that would be amazing to watch. I think it would be a fun break in for LeBron. I think it would be fun for the city of Philadelphia. But, I think with how the Cavs are rolling right now, I don't know. There was stories coming out mid-season this year about the scuffles LeBron and Dan Gilbert have been having, and how Dan Gilbert just pissed LeBron off so much that he's just done. He's done with Cleveland. But, if he makes it back to a finals with Cleveland, how can you leave that,
I think I understand what you're saying. I would take it a step further. How can he leave that? Well, it happened last year. They made it and didn't win. It happened 2 years ago. They made it. They didn't win. It happened 2 times in Miami. He made it and didn't win. That's not new ground for him. And the kind of things that LeBron's going to be looking at, Cade, is, okay, we made it this year, but we had some fortune on the way. We beat Boston, but look, Boston didn't have Kyrie. Boston didn't have Gordon Hayward. So as LeBron's making his decision, he is going to be planning as if these Celtics, these Raptors, these Sixers, all of these teams are going to be at full strength and full health. And with Tatum developing the way he is, and Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier, with these guys developing the way they are, if you throw Kyrie and Gordon Hayward in there, plus whoever they're going to pick this year, that by itself might somehow land at favorites going into the 2019 season. It's dead serious. So the only way I see LeBron staying in Cleveland is if they win it all. Is if somehow Cleveland's able to take out one of these 2 Western Conference juggernauts. That is going to be hard. No question. But so Philly, you got him going to Philly. What do you like about him going there?
I think that right now, Ben Simmons and LeBron, Ben Simmons' game is really similar to how LeBron played when he very first came into the league. And it's going to be tough because Ben Simmons, to make an impact, has to be a ball-dominant player. But LeBron, to make an impact, he's going to be the ball-dominant player too. He's going to get people through. But I think LeBron would really enjoy kind of mentoring Ben Simmons into a player that he can really be,
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of them two coming together. LeBron grooming him, Simmons continuing to get better. I like that thought a lot. All right, Cade, man, I really appreciate your insight. I look forward to talking with you on Twitter throughout these conference finals and transitioning to the finals. Hey, and I'm also excited about you coming to LCU next year, man. Good things are going to happen from that. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. I really enjoyed you being here. Let's do it again sometime.
Yes, sir, Keegan. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the show.
You bet, man. Have a good one. Cade Killough from Colorado was on the phone there. Good insights on the NBA playoffs coming up. Conference finals kick off tomorrow with the Eastern Conference Finals. I believe it starts at 2:30 Central Time. Cavaliers going to Boston. And on Monday, the Western Finals tipping off. Warriors traveling to Houston. I believe that one's 8 o'clock Central Time. Really good stuff. Again, wrap up my predictions. I've got the Warriors in 7. I've got the Cavs in 6. Excited about the Keegan Stewart Sports Podcast and the things we have coming on in the future. Josh Stevens is set to join me in a couple of weeks, probably right before the finals. I also have a man joining me by the name of Brent Derrick coming up in the future. Brent Derrick, diehard Rockets fan. Want to get him talking about Houston. We'll definitely see how they're doing in the series. Get that discussion. Also, Brent texted me this week. It was actually after LeBron made the game winner and just kind of wrapped up the Raptors in 4. This has been a Michael Jordan diehard fan. For a long time, we've had multiple discussions and dialogues and discourse about why we think the other one's greater than the other. This man texted me this week and let me know, hey, I've kind of changed my mind here. I think LeBron is actually the greatest. I'm going to sit back and enjoy. So pretty interesting. He's going to come on the show in the future. Look forward to that. Thank you so much for listening. Keegan Stewart Sports Podcast. Find it on YouTube right now by the name of Keegan Stewart. Find me on Twitter, Keeg Stew, Facebook, Keegan Stewart. Thank you so much for listening. Excited for the future and excited for these playoffs coming up. Everybody, have a great day.